Srivatsangam Mahoraskam Vanamala Virajidam Shankhchakradaram Devam Krishnam Vande Jagagurum. Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. Om Shri Parthasarade Namaha. I bow to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, who holds the shankh and the discus in his hands and is adorned with a garland of wild flowers. Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvina Atitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us be protected, let us be nourished, let our teaching be enthusiastic, and may they take us to the highest, and may we never have cause to fight with each other. So I'm so happy to see all of you, and let's hope today the thing will go off without much problem. Every day, every time I do, on a Saturday, every time there's something or other. So it's all his leelas, the trials, and to find out how we take it, how I take it maybe, probably, and how you take it also. So I'm so happy that all of you are here. But to remember that I can't answer your questions now. I can answer tomorrow at a Q&A, same time, 11 to 12. You can write it down and keep it, and we'll answer it tomorrow, okay? So now, let's go to the Udhhava Geeta. And last, we just do one small checkup of the last thing. You know, we were talking about, Krishna was talking about the miser, the terrible miserly Brahmin of Avanti, who had so much of money, yet he did not spend even a tiny penny on anything, not even on himself or his family also. He never spent anything. He just stored and hoarded it all the time and lived a miserable life also, despite the fact that he had so much money. And it was the fact that everybody hated him. Even his own wife and children hated him because they never did what he asked. Their servants, nothing, because he never paid them. He never gave any attention to them. If any visitor came, he was very rude to them, so they never stayed because he never liked to give anything to even a visitor, common visitor or a beggar or anything. He never gave anything. At last, as you know, money which is hoarded like that, will slowly it all went away. And he literally became a pauper. Something by some, let's say some thieves took away some, his own wife and children took away some, and he lost a lot in the bad weather. His farm did not pay up. So if anything, to make a long story short, he lost everything. He had nothing except the clothes he was wearing. And he decided that he is going to go forward and become a mendicant, a beggar. He had no other go, actually. So he went to all these places where people knew him, and they, of course, everybody refused to give him even a single paisa. They drove him away and said, "Oh, look at that horrible miser. He's put on a new garb, and he's trying to fool us and trying to get more money out of us by begging. So let us not give him anything." And they threw him out. And so he went to further places, and there, everywhere, his fame or his ill fame, he was infamous actually, had spread before him. So everyone threw stones at him. They filled didn't give anything to him. Sometimes if he managed to get a little bit, they say that the children would go and spit on it or do susu or pass urine on it, so that he was in a very bad state. Now, but somehow by his previous karma and the grace of God, he realized that somehow he put up with it. However, even if they treated him like an animal, that whatever they did to him, he said, "This is my fault. It is not the fault of the world. It's my fault, it's my prarabdha karma." So today we are taking the song. This Udhhava Geeta has many songs actually in it. We started up with 24 gurus, which the yogi said to the king. The king was given this lecture. Yadu was given by the yogi. Then we had what is the last one we had? Something else. And then now we are having the song of the mendicant. Now we have two others also actually sing. So this is the gist of the song he sang. He says, exactly, this is a great philosophy he's saying. These men are not the cause of my sufferings. No God, not an evil star or time or anything else is the cause of my suffering. The mind alone is the cause that turns the wheel of samsara. The mind generates the movements of the senses. These results in actions that are either sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. As you know, Prakriti works through her three gunas of sattva, rajas and tamas. The whole world is a combination, permanent permutation of sattva, rajas and tamas. So he says, see, at that time, so many years, 5,000 years ago, Bhagavan is saying it. The mind is the most powerful agent, and one who has managed to control. He is the Lord, He is God Himself. Now only people are realizing that mind is actually the agent which creates this world of duality for us. Such a world never exists. Quantum physics agrees with that now. After how many years? 5,000 years. But this, Bhagavan says it through the mouth of this Brahmin. He said, the mind generates all these movements, and this results in actions which are either sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. The mind is the one which colors the whole thing. It is the most powerful agent in the world, and the one who has managed to control it is the true Lord. So how beautifully he says this. This is very important then as now. At least now people are realizing, slowly realizing it. He has already said this. How can we be sure about this? When is it the mind is not working? In deep sleep. In deep sleep, the mind is not working. And then what happens? We are in bliss. We are in bliss. When we get up, we say, I had such a wonderful sleep. And that was so wonderful. That's why sleep is very important for everyone. All human beings have to have some sleep. That regenerates them. Otherwise, the mind is constantly working. Even in dream state, it's working. Only in the state of deep sleep, it's not working. And so it's very important because the whole body and everything else, that antakarana gets a great rest during deep sleep. That's why, and that sleep is the same for everyone. Whether you're a king or a pauper or a dog or a cat or anything, that sleep will be the same because everybody enjoys it. So, this is and if that mind can be controlled during the waking state, that is a man who is enlightened. When the mind does not lead this man into this world of dualities, when he is his mind is at equilibrium and he can look at this, I'm neither sad when something horrible happens, neither over happy when something very happy. Such is Shubha Parityagi. Shubha, Ashubha. Shubha means that is which is auspicious. Ashubha, that which is inauspicious. So all the sadhana we do, everything that, or any type of sadhana that we do is only an attempt to control the mind. Do you realize that? This is how we are given yoga, sadhanas, all sorts of things in order to control the mind. And the Atman, who is the Jiva's closest friend, is never an actor. The Atman is not concerned with all this. It's only an actor and a witness of the modes of the mind. This is all said by the Brahmin, who has become a beggar now. He is only the witness of the mind and the actions of the senses. The Jivatma, however, identifies itself with the mind and not with the Atman. Unfortunately, the Jivatma, who is carrying a bunch of vasanas or samskaras of a previous life with him, or many lives in fact, identifies itself with the mind and the senses and not with the Atman. And that is what creates, projects this world of duality and unreality, really speaking, because this world which we think is solid and everything is real is only a passing phantasmagoria. How long does it last? Every second, not only the world, but our own bodies are changing. Every second, every cell is good. In 7 years, all the cells in our body are totally changed, they say. So but we identify that, we think that this is very real, this is the only real thing, reality, the world is real, and inside me I'm not real. But this is what is real for us. So this mind is what projects us, like a cinema to be seen on the TV screen. It projects. That the light show which is on the TV screen has no reality. But when you are engrossed in it, we get happy, we get sad. Same thing is happening in the world outside. The mind has projected this world, one reality, a duality, and it feels that it's subject to the enjoyment and sufferings. Where does the enjoyment and suffering come? Also in the mind. Isn't it? Where there is no mind, there is no suffering, no enjoyment. Like there is in deep sleep, no mind, no suffering, no enjoyment. So it's not that doesn't mean that they are asking you to sleep your whole life through. Not that. What they say that you should control the mind and do your work, your sadharma, so that stand above it. Don't be involved in it. The person who can know swimming very well enjoys the swim, enjoys the water. Even if it throws it out, brings it down in the sea, they enjoy that swimming. The person who doesn't know to swim, floundering and thinking, oh, it's terrible, sometimes I'm thrown up by a wave, sometimes, right? And suffering is there, sometimes enjoyment. This is the thing. So you can live a beautiful life here in this world if you have controlled your mind. That is, if you have known swimming, you know how you're an expert swimmer. You can control your mind. Such a person can enjoy this life, no problem. That can enjoy this life and will not be drowned in the sorrow or exulting in the happiness. That is the difference. That is what all sadhana is meant to do. So that you can be a master of the mind. That you become a master of this world, of the self. All the senses are subject to the mind. You understand? Oh, the jiva identifies itself with that mind, whose activity is what creates and projects this world. Again and again I'm telling you. This is what science also, physics also has said that now. Today quantum physics has agreed that is the truth. And now there's a lot of investigation going on about the nature of consciousness. All of which have already been discussed by our Puranas and Shastras long ago. Now all the subjects and senses are subject to the mind. It is the mind which controls senses. If the mind is not, the eyes cannot see, ears cannot hear, nose cannot smell, nothing can be done. Because the mind is there, that the senses can work. The mind is in but the mind is not subject to anything else. It goes its own way. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoho. In the human being, the mind alone is the cause of both bondage and liberation. There is no other entity which comes from outside and liberates you. No. The mind alone. The caged bird, for instance, is been caged for so long, so that one day when the owner opens out the little door for it, it won't go. It doesn't like to go. It's so used to its cage that it doesn't like to fly out. Freedom. You understand? Similarly, the mind is like that. By its identification with the mind, this jivatma appears to undergo the enjoyments and suffering that arise from its identification. I will give you that example which has already been given here before of the two birds sitting on one tree. That's the tree of life. And one bird is pecking, and when he gets sweet fruit, he's so happy and tweet, 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 he'll say. When he pecks some bitter fruit, he spits it out and he's very happy. The other bird does nothing, just sits and watches this little bird. One day that little bird who's always hopping around trying for a little enjoyment here and being blessed sometimes and being cursed sometimes, he turns around and looks at his companion who's always there beside him. And then he realizes that he's being a foolish little bird. Why am I going out to all these sensations in the world? I can be a witness like this, my partner next to me, who is the Atman itself. I can be a witness to all this. I can enjoy anything I want to enjoy, I can enjoy. It doesn't matter because I don't identify myself. It's when you identify yourself with this that all this sufferings and enjoyment both are. Okay. So only the state of samadhi can such a mind find peace. This is the highest yoga. This is all being said by this beggar. He obviously has done some good deed in his previous life, that at least even now, after having lived such a terrible life, where he did not even get one naya paisa to another beggar, or even to a dog or a cat or a cow, anything, he never gave. Such a man should have this mind, mental, something he has done in a previous life. And of course, the grace of God. This is, if a person has, and then he says, if a person has already attained single pointedness and tranquility, there is no need actually for him to do any more sadhana. But of course, I always say, even if you think you have attained single pointed, you should keep on sadhana, because we never know. That what we have won is very, very precarious. We don't know when there might be a fall. Mind is, you never know when. So I would always advise you, even if you have got a certain amount of tranquility and you should continue sadhana. But here he says, sadhana is not necessary for such a man who has said, he must meaning one who has attained the highest, who is very steady. His mind is always in a state of steadiness. So for such a person, there's no need. Also, there's no need of sadhana on the other end of the spectrum. A man whose mind is stuck in materialism and continues to run after wealth. Like all these people you're finding. My God, every time you open the TV to hear what is the news, this is all that. Here somebody murders somebody, here somebody rapes somebody, there's someone big scam, one scam, that scam, this. My God, such people also, he says, no point in telling them all this. No point. They will never. There's no need for them to do any sadhana, because they will not be able to do any sadhana. They cannot concentrate. Their mind is always fixed on worldly things, how to make more money, this is the main concern of all human beings now. It's really so sad that this country was produced. Today, by the way, is the anniversary of Bhagat Singh, the Jayanti of Bhagat Singh, one of the greatest of our freedom fighters, whom we don't even really know about. He has done so at a young age, actually. He sacrificed. He and his fellow friends all sacrificed. So at least think of, we don't find even one person with the love for this Madhur Bhumi as these people had. Where has it all gone? Now there is love only for money, more money and more money. And for what? What are they going to do with all this money? Or they can use that, maybe nowadays, of course, if you don't even have paper money. If you had at least paper money, all that money you can use to make a fire to burn you when you die. But not even that is there. It's all, everything is on this. Tick, 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 tick. Everything is digital. So those people who are reached the highest thing, for them there is no need sadhana. Those people who are stuck in the lowest level, greed only for money, kill, do, lie, cheat, do anything adharmic, so that I can have a wonderful life. That's all they're bothered about. Even they don't need any sadhana, he says. Because they will never be able to do it. They will never be. Instead of spending their time in trying to control that mind, they will enter into vain arguments with others and look on, and they have everything. Oh, this man who is cheating me, he's a cheater. This is my friend, this is my enemy, this is good, that is bad. Such a person who sees everything as different, everything is with him. They are all entangled in this world of samsara. And they think everyone is different from man. That man, that the hunger of that poor child next to them in the slum, they're living in a huge palace maybe, and outside there is slum, and they don't even notice that the children there are going without food. Such is the state. Can you imagine the state of these people? It's incredible. Such people, he will later on say, they will be born as worms, he says, worms. So they'll see people as being entirely different. They regard their bodies, which are only a construction of the mind, as their own self. I am the body. This is asuric, this thing. I am the body. So whatever I can do to make this body strong, or make this body great, and have this, have so much of jewelry and so much of shoes, clothes. One pair of shoes ain't enough for us, maybe two going outside. But how many shoes most ladies have? So the other, however, the one who knows that the Atman is unaffected by that, what is done to the body, only such a man will be at peace. So this man, how much his body is being tortured, this beggar, the mendicant of Avanti, he's being tortured, his body is being tortured because, and all the time he says, it's my own fault, it's all my own karma, it's my own karma. Yeah, he says, how can planets be the cause of misery and happiness? They even if it was so, they cannot affect the Atman. They can only affect the body. The planets, we go to astrologer, we run to the Vedic astrologer and so on and so forth, just to try and see what is wrong with me. I have lost my money, he put all his money, his savings into this thing, and the whole thing crashed. So, your planets, they're saying this is not a good time for it. If the planets are not the cause of misery, or they cannot affect the Atman, they can only affect your mind. Your mind only they can affect. The influence of the planets will be on the body and the mind, and not on the Atman. Even karma can only affect the body and mind, and never the Atman, which is beyond both. Understand? The Atman cannot be affected by anything that we call something. The Atma is always conscious and the body is always inert. So how can karma affect either? It cannot affect either of them. Suffering and joy arises in time. But the Atman is beyond time. So it cannot affect the Atman. So Atman cannot be affected by anything in the world of duality. Either material or non-material, in time or out of time, it cannot be affected. Then what is it that experiences all this? That ego in the mind, who experiences a cycle of births and deaths and get attracted to pairs of opposites like heat, cold, pleasure, pain, happiness, unhappiness. It is the mind, it is the ego which gets it. This can never be felt by the Atma. The Atma is only the witness of that. This person who has not understood this will always be frightened. Always fear lurks at the bottom of every human being who has not realized this. Because when there is two, there is always fear. When there is only one, there is no fear. So we always be fearful of unhappy things that happen in the world of duality. This is what the mendicant spoke. Amazing that he, after having lived such a horrible life, terribly adharmic life, yet he is able to understand this. At last he said, I shall follow the discipline given to us by the rishis. I shall follow the dharmic path which is given to us by the rishis. And I shall have recourse only to the feet of the Lord. And I shall cross over this limitless expanse of the darkness of ignorance, he says. He was totally, because remember, this is a question Udhhava had asked. When the world is mean and horrible and wicked to us, world is always trying to pull us, not only the world, but even our own people are trying to do that. They make us so unhappy, they try to pull us down. How do we combat this? That is when the Lord gives this story of the mendicant of Avanti, the Brahmin, the rich Brahmin of Avanti. So he says, all this, I shall recourse only the feet of the Lord. And I shall cross over this expanse of darkness of ignorance. Thus, Bhagavan Krishna continued his words to Udhhava and said, thus the beggar of Avanti sang this song when he lost all his wealth and his relatives and was ill-treated by everyone. He roamed all over the land till his death, oblivious of the insults and hardships that he faced. Firm in his resolve that I am the Atman alone, nothing can harm me, nothing can hurt me. They can only insult this body. They can only throw mud and stones and stuff on my body. Yeah, but nothing, and no one could. Therefore, he says, I'm only the Atman, and I can. I'm sorry. There's one big question here. Ma, I'm traveling to Rishikesh after Navaratri. Main goal in being finding your ashram. I don't have any address details, but I'm determined. That is why I thought of looking at this. Usually I don't look at the questions. Yes, I will be there after Navaratri. Definitely I will be there. I mean, not definitely. Nothing is definite in this world. Everything is a world of duality. If Krishna wills, I will be there, even during Navaratri, after Navaratri for sure. And Vanamali Ashram, you come to Tapovan and take the road leading to Lakshman Jula, and immediately on the right, immediately turn at the road. No, don't go right down to Lakshman Jula. Immediately on the right, opposite Holy River Hotel, you'll find two little temples and the small ashram, okay, with a gate, a big gate. But no name, I never advertise anything. You can ask anyone there in Tapovan, okay? See how immediately you said Bhagavan was you, and he only told me to have a look at this this particular question. Okay. So this samsara which produces happiness and misery, that distinguishes between friend and foe, is all a product of that ignorant mind. Therefore, Udhhava, keep your mind firmly fixed on me. Do your best to control this wavering mind. Do not be led astray by that mind. You are not this mind. You are that Supreme Atman, ever a witness of that. What can they do? Only the body can have. Only the body suffers. Both this thing and the suffering of the body and the suffering of the mind is all mental, really speaking. So this is the greatest yoga, is what he said. So now we come to the next chapter, chapter 24 in the Udhhava Geeta. The Lord continued. Now I shall tell you this, the philosophy of Sankhya, he said. Sankhya, as expounded by Kapila Muni, which will enable a person to abandon the delusion that everything is different. Now, I don't know whether you all know, I don't know if you have taken this, but India, Bharat had 6 systems of philosophy in old India. They were all interconnected, but they all tried to find out reality, but reality was being photographed from different angles. It is as if reality was being photographed from different angles, and these 6 systems are very, very fundamental to understanding of Hinduism. And these 6 systems are 9. They were joined after some time because two couples they were very similar, so they joined. That is Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, and Purvamamsa and Uttaravamamsa, or Advaita. Uttaravamamsa is known as Advaita. So, these six systems are there. And Sankhya is actually, Yoga and Sankhya are very basic to all. They all borrowed from each other, but they had slightly different viewpoints. Advaita, we all know, what we all know is for Advaita, that there's only one reality, and that is Brahman, and everything is unreal. The whole world is a Maya. Now Sankhya actually, which is Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni is a very great saint, and he gave this advice actually to his mother, Devahuti, one of those who was famous for having advised his mother. And she attained enlightenment. So he was a very great soul actually. And actually, Vanamali's next book is on these rishis. Sapta rishis and all these great rishis that have made this country into what it is, that made our Hinduism into what it is. Okay? That has given us a great story of the Sanatana Dharma. So when it is out, I will let you know. So, he says, this world of duality, already he has spoken out about many different types of tattvas which make up the world. All the different systems enumerated many different types of tattvas which make up this world. So this world of duality, which has differences like the seer and the seen, I am the seer and the seen, totally different. The seer can never be the seen, and the seen can never be the seer. Subject and object but it's actually only pure consciousness. The pure consciousness projects itself into this thing. It's that pure consciousness which allows you to see the film which is being played on that TV screen. And it's that pure consciousness which is a white screen behind it, which allows you to think that this film is real. If that pure white screen of the TV was not there, you can never know that this is real. If the screen is also moving, or the screen has many colors, this will have no meaning. The projection will have no meaning. So it is because of the pure consciousness in you that you are able to see that moving picture on the screen. And it's because of the pure consciousness which acts as a screen there, a white screen there, that anything at all seems to have a meaning. Otherwise it will be meaningless. So the whole thing, which has this world of reality, which has the seer and the seen, subject and object, is all nothing but that pure consciousness. You're in total dissolution of pralaya. You know what pralaya? When everything dissolves, as well as in the consciousness of those who are in the state of pure enlightenment. Only that one unitary consciousness of Brahman exists. The true seer does not see the difference. He sees only that pure consciousness, which is on which the duality of the world is being projected. That pure consciousness which is in him and allows him to enjoy this duality or world of duality. Enjoy it, no problem at all, so long as you do not get caught up in it. The swimmer who can enjoy the waves, can enjoy the wave. The one who does not know to swim, sometimes he goes down in the one wave and sometimes is thrown up into the other wave. So learn how to swim in this ocean of samsara. Then the world becomes a thing of joy to you. So this one consciousness becomes separated as the seer and see, subject and object, due to the power of my Maya, he says. It is my Maya which creates this. In this, the seer is the Purusha. We are talking about Sankhya now. The Sankhya says there are two realities, the Purusha and Prakriti. The center of consciousness or the subject. Purusha is the center of consciousness or the subject, which Advaita calls Brahman. And the objects which sometimes manifests, sometimes unmanifests, is known as Prakriti. Prakriti is that which... Now, out of Prakriti, how does she project this? Out of Prakriti comes the three aspects of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Out of these gunas are produced a Sutratma. He's talking about the beginning of creation. The three gunas make something what is called a Sutratma, which is like a string that attaches the Atman to the body. It's not a real string, not like the umbilical cord which attaches the baby to the mother and which has to be cut before the baby can come out into as soon as the baby comes out in the world. Only then becomes a separate person, isn't it? Now the Sutratma, there is a very, very, very subtlest of all things which connect the Atman and the body. That is Jivatma to the body. The Jivatma to the body. So that is why the Jivatma, which is unconscious, which is still in a state of ignorance, imagines that is the body. Because there is that Sutratma which is connecting. Now from that comes the Mahatattva, which is Mahatattva is the cosmic Sutratma, the cosmic one, by which the whole world is connected with that. Now this Sutratma here is that which connects the Jivatma with the body with the Jivatma with the body. It is called Mahatattva. When Jnana is predominant in it, it's called Mahatattva. The Mahatattva is called Sutratma when the Kriya Shakti or power of action is predominant. So when the Sutratma is what? At the time of birth, when the umbilical cord is cut, the Sutratma still exists because only then you identify yourself with this body. At the time of death, remember, this Sutratma is cut, just like the umbilical cord is cut. The Sutratma is cut, and that Jivatma flies out of the body because its identification with the body is seized. That's what happened. That's Sutratma. That's a very, very invisible, subtle string which attaches. That is cut. So the ahankara or ego actually comes from this Mahatattva. Mahatattva is the cosmic ahankara, the cosmic ego. All our little egos are only a pulsation of that cosmic ego from the Mahatattva. This ahankara, which is what causes delusion. And it is a combination of both consciousness and unconsciousness. Okay? There's a kind of a combination of both. It has the three gunas of sattva, rajas and tamas. From ahankara, from this comes all the tanmatras, all the subtle particles and elements, the indriya, sense organs, manas, mind, deities proceeding, these buddhas, the gross elements, are all evolved from the tamasic aspect of ahankara. So everything comes out from the combination, permeation of sattva, rajas and tamas. That is how Prakriti makes the Jivatma, which is really nothing but that Paramatma, believe that it is combined with the body. That is what combines it and makes it believe that it is there. So from the Rajasic aspect of Ahankara comes the Indriyas, or senses, sense organs. From the Sattvic aspect come the 10 devas or deities which preside over the Indriya. First, Nigsabi has said there are three things in every act of perception. There is the Adhyatma, there is the Buddha, Bhaudika, and Adhyatmika, Bhaudika, and the Daivika. Three. And I gave you the small illustration in, let's take the eyes. The Adhyatma is the seer, actual Atma, the seer inside. The Bhaudika is all the objects of seeing, like the seer and the seen objects. And Devika, the Deva of the eyes is the sun, because with the power of light only one can see. Like this, everything has three aspects: Adhyatma, Adi Bhaudika, and Adi Daivika. Understand? So they 10, all these other organs that we have 10 devas or deities are also presiding over the 10 indriyas. Okay? The mind also originates from this, of course. The mind, all these categories are activated by me, he said, and combined to form the all-inclusive cosmic shell that floats on the causal waters on which I manifest as Narayana. You know, in Hinduism, the beautiful scientific ideas, scientific truths are explained and shown in a very beautiful form of a story. So that we hear of Narayana sleeping on the Milky Ocean. That Milky Ocean is actually the ocean of all possibilities, which quantum physics now says is an ocean of all possibilities, from which anything can happen, anything can come out. That is told to us in a form of a story, as Narayana sleeping on the Milky Ocean. And out of his navel comes the lotus, on which is seated Brahma, the creator Brahma. And he is given the power to create by Narayana. So, and then what happens is that Rajas is preponderant in Brahma. Brahma has Rajas mainly because he has to create. And he creates all the worlds at Bhurloga, which is the earth, Bhurloga, which is the abode of the spirits, Swarloga, which is the abode of the Devas. And above this Loga, there are other Logas which belong to the Siddhas, evolved souls. And below the earth, Brahma created Logas for Asuras, Nagas, known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, etc. So all these lokas are not ideas. You should not think that. These are all kind of just like this. It has like this Bhuloga. This is called Bhuloga. This has how much of this reality? All those have equal realities, because this world actually is created by a mind. If the mind was not there, we don't have the world. When you're in deep sleep, you have no world. Similarly, all these other logas are creations of different minds, different qualities of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So above all these three other logas, you have Mahar Loga, Jara Loga, Tapo Loga, eventually Satya Loga, which is this thing of the Rishi. These are attained by those who practice yoga, austerity, sannyasa, not by wearing a ochre cloak, sannyasa, which is real sannyasa, which means that you have absolutely no relationship or no dependency on the world. See, he's a true sannyasi. There was no dependency on anything in the world. Only dependency is on God alone. So all the beings in these worlds are moved by my power of time. Time is the one which brings into force these worlds. And time is the power of time and time itself is an abstract thing. So the whole thing is an abstraction. Just like time is, when the time is up, the fetus will come out of the womb and become a baby. And when the time is there, it will pass off and go back to the earth from which it was, 5 elements from which it was born. So everything, birth of a human being, birth of the worlds, birth of everything, depends on when the time is correct. But remember that which was present in all these jivas during all their births and in the different lokas and wombs is that unchanging reality. What was present before time, during this so-called time which we have in this world, and will continue to exist even when we die. That is the reality of that Brahman. The changing conditions have only a temporary, practical reality. It's only for a certain time. This body for a certain time is given to me so that I can do whatever I'm supposed to do. When the time is over, into the earth, into the fire will I go with the body. Therefore only that which is ever present, which is not conditioned by time and space, which was ever present everywhere, not just in one place, at one particular time. That which was ever present in all times, in all spaces, only that can be called real. Everything else is unreal because it changes. It changes and goes and dies also. How can something which is constantly changing and constantly different from the other, how can that be called a reality? Hinduism does not call that. Only that which remains the same in past, present and future, in all the 3 states of time. Only such a thing, if there is such a thing, can be called real. And that reality is known as the Brahman in Advaita. Here in the Sankhya, he calls it the Purusha. The Purusha. So like gold, like there's a lot of gold, but many different, when you go to a goldsmith shop, so many different types of ornaments are there. But we see the differences in the ornament. To the goldsmith, he sees only, this is 2 grams, this is 1 gram, this is 5 grams. I say, he's not bothered about how it looks or whatever. It's only the gram. How many grams is that? That's all he wants. He sees only the gold. Similarly, that liberated person sees only that Purusha underlying all the different changes. Prakriti is a substance, a material cause of everything. Prakriti is a material cause and Purusha is only the witnessing cause. But under his gaze only Prakriti. In one of my books I think I've said that Prakriti is the playground for the Purusha. Prakriti is a playground for the Purusha because then he enjoys this thing with the knowledge. Like we also can enjoy if we have this knowledge that I am not this changing world. I am that unchanging, limitless seer alone. I am not the seen alone. The seen is always being constructed and destroyed, conducted and destroyed, changing also. I am not that. I am that ever eternal, beyond time and space, spaceless, timeless entity of that Purusha. So time is a factor that manifests the effects out of causal conditions. The effects that come out of it. That is to say, that is the Supreme Brahman. And this universe will continue so long as the creative will of the Lord. He wants to give an opportunity to jivas to come up and redeem themselves. So pralaya sets in when the creative will subsides. When the creative will subsides, all the seemingly endless universes all also go into that. Even physics today has agreed that there is a state of pralaya when everything goes into what they call the what holes, dark holes or something, black holes, black holes. Everything, so many of these universes collapses into that black hole. So that seems to end this. The body dissolves into food, the food into seed, seed to earth, earth to smell, smell to water water to taste, taste to fire, fire to form, form to air, air to touch, touch to sky, sky to sound, and the senses into their presiding deities, and the deities into the mind, which is a product of sattva and the controller of everything. Now, this is because the 5 elements, they keep on returning back into the 5 elements. One, that's how he gives that. How Shabda. And then Tanmatra. Tanmatra, what does it mean? What is it? The Tanmatra of the Akasha. Akasha is space. Oh, it's not really space, but we call it space. And sound is a Tanmatra of Akasha. And ears are the organ of hearing in the human body. I've described this to you before. And the next subtle one is Vayu or air. And what is the quality of Vayu? Touch. It can be felt. Vayu, Akasha you cannot feel, you cannot see, you cannot do anything. But Vayu you can at least feel. And feel. And then what is the Tanmatra is touch. Tanmatra is touch. And what is the organ in us? The skin. Similarly, next in the subtle thing is that Agni. Agni can be, fire can be seen. That's the third. Fire can be seen. The first one can only be, sound can pass through it. Next one only, you can hear. No, sorry, touch. Fire you can touch. Next you can, the eyes are the organs of the god of fire. There is fire, it has a certain form. We can see form with the eyes. Then again, after that comes water for uppers. That is the fourth element is water uppers. That is, and the quality of taste. Taste is the tanmatra, or the quality of that. This thing, tanmatra is known as taste. And what is the organ in us which can know taste? The tongue. Then next comes, from that comes finally the earth, Prithvi or the earth. And that has everything, all these things are in the earth also. And the quality of this thing is that of smell. Smell is the quality of that. And what is the organ in us? The nose. So all these combine to form this universe, which we can see and touch and hear and smell and feel, because we have corresponding indriyas or senses in us. If we didn't have that, we would not be able to see the world, or hear the word, or see the word, or touch the word, or smell the word, isn't it? So it's a beautiful collection of that. It's a beautiful how they fit into each other. So that is why they say there are so many evolutes from that. So these are all aspects of the Mahatattva. And when Pralaya occurs, when the black hole sucks in everything, this dissolves, and the whole thing dissolves in 3 qualities of Prakriti called Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And these 3 again, it's like a thing which, you can pull it back like a telescope which pulls it up. These 3 is tunneled back into Prakriti, which is, Prakriti is a state in which that state of equilibrium of the 3 gunas. Equilibrium of the 3 gunas. Prakriti itself dissolves into time. And time dissolves into that spirit, which is the power of my Maya, which itself dissolves in me, the Brahman, the pure spirit. The Brahman, which is the original unborn spirit, which is the basic substance on which creation manifests and dissolves. Manifests and dissolves. Understand? Like the TV cream, on and on, on and on. Those who think over this process again and again will not get diluted. So it is very necessary that we understand these things. And you may not say, oh, these so many philosophies, why do they beat their heads? All they need to do is find out a method of making money. That was not the attitude in ancient India. That was not the attitude. The attitude was to understand creation so that we understand the Creator. Through the creation, they wanted to go to the Creator. So that is the most important thing in ancient India. Unfortunately, somehow, through the, many years of submission and decadence has separate. There's all adharmic actions have started coming on in here. So we really have to go back to our roots in order to bring back this wonderful culture which has ever existed and should be made to exist again. Whatever happens, so many all over the world, people are trying to bring us down. But the Hindus have to unite. We have to unite and fight for our dharma if necessary. It was always, when the necessity was there, we always fought for our dharma. Remember that. What is the great, Rama and Krishna, the two great avatars, incarnations, what did they do? Krishna could have easily killed Duryodhana and stopped the war. But no, he didn't do that. Because why? It was Arjuna had to do his duty as a Kshatriya. He had to do his swadharma as a Kshatriya and go through that war, which was part of the way that the creation goes into this thing. It's not as if that God can come and simply, he can if he wants, but then what is the point? What is the point? You understand? Now a person who, very good chess player, the father is a very good chess, he comes and looks at the child is playing chess. He can easily push this thing and then say, so you won. But he doesn't do that. He makes a child play. He makes a child, tells the child how to play the correct way and makes it play because that is his swadharma. Similarly, Rama also, he could have killed Ravana. Why did he bring in all the problems of the Vanaras and so many difficulties and walk through the whole length and breadth of Bharat in order to go to Sri Lanka and preach Sita? He could have done that by himself. He didn't do that. Because everybody has to go through a certain amount of that Swadharma has to be followed. Then only the world keeps up its thing and going on and on. So it's very important. That is why we are now in this, Hinduism is again at a crisis, in a very, very particular and horrible crisis which has happened to us many times ago. But we should not give up. We should fight for our cause. We should help those who are patriots, who are working for the country alone. Not run after people who are looking only for their own aggrandizement. Very important. Not those who go around defiling and demeaning the Madhubhumi. Do not vote for such people. Do not go after such people. We should go with people who are trying to bring up this ancient country. So all Hindus have to unite if you want your country. We have no other country but this. Remember that. So then, where are we? We've got a few more minutes, okay. So, what are the characteristics, he says? Characteristics of the gunas. Control of the mind, senses, forbearance, discrimination, austerity, truth, compassion, memory, self-sacrifice, desirelessness, faith or absorption in the self. These, as you can easily understand, are the signs of sattva, pure sattva. Now, and what is the other one? Desire, greed, pride, selfishness, seeing only differences in things and people, sensuality, craving for name and fame and money, indulging in ridiculing everybody else. They are so stupid, they're hopeless. Aggressiveness. All these are signs of rajas. Okay? Now, anger, greed, cruelty, hypocrisy, depression, these are all vain expectations, fear, lack of initiative, vigor in work and vigor in doing very, very mean and horrible work. These are all signs of tamas. And unfortunately, this is what we find in not only in the world, actually in the world, but in Bharat also, and maybe we not change the world, but at least we can try to change our own country, which is well worth saving. And we ourselves are well worth saving. So these are all types of tamas, so we should try and change them. Now, all three gunas are active in the feeling of ego. That is, when all three are mixed up and we say, this is me, this is mine, all these things, all the activities of the mind, the tanmatras and senses. I told you what are the sense organs. The five elements come into the sense organs, And they have their own tanmatra, that is, the eye can only see. Sight is the tanmatra of the eye. The smell is the tanmatra of the nose. So these are all a combination of these three gunas. These are all a combination of these three gunas. And the person who adores me with devotion or does karma without any self-centered motive, such a person is said to be sattvic. He who adores me with no desire for any selfish reason, such a person is sattvic. Those who adore me with a reason to accomplish self-centered actions, desires, such people also come to me. They come to me, say, I will give you this, I will make a gopuram for you, I will give you clothes, I will give you money if you allow me to, if my wish comes through and I can. Such people are rajasic. And some people who adore me, who do everything for me, devoted to me, only with the desire to harm another person, to harm his thing. There are such people also who goes to think, please let my enemy be destroyed. Don't let him have anything. Such people are also there, and such they even resort to worshipping elementals. So such people are definitely tamasic. So when sattva is dominant, the person is pure, peaceful. You can understand it. Established in knowledge and morality somehow. That's such a sattvic person. When you go to their presence itself, you feel great shanti. When rajas is dominant, he is subject to suffering, which follows desire-prompted actions. Normally, suffering is always a result of desire-prompted actions. And when tamas predominates, the person is very lethargic. Oh, I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy. And is also subject to depression, delusion, and cruelty sometimes. Cruelty. The people who, taunting and teasing some dogs and cats and all, you see children. That's all very tamasic. And they are also vain expectations also. That's another tamasic at the same. Oh, I'll do that. I'm very good at that. I can easily. Oh, nothing to do. Such things are only actually tamasic. When the mind and senses are serene and the body is free from disease and the heart from strong attachments, then sattva dominates. That is when sattva dominates. When he's full of activity, mind and body, very restless, I have to do that, I have to do this, and confusion also, rajas is predominant. When the mind is drooping, filled with depression, sleep, inertia, I'm so sleepy, I don't feel like doing any work now. Tamas predominates. Okay? During sattva, the qualities of devas predominate. When rajas, the asuras predominate. And during the tapas, the rakshasas will predominate. Okay? Are there any more people? I don't see any more people around here. Anyway, never mind. Whoever is there or not, I do this as an offering to that divine, and therefore hopefully he will accept it and forgive me for all the mistakes that I might have made, or I'm in the process of making. But anyway, this is my offering to that divine. So the waking state comes from sattva, dream state comes from rajas, and deep sleep from tamas. The turiya or fourth state is the Atman that prevails in all the three states and transcends the guna. Those who follow the Vedic way of life will go to heavenly regions at death, like Swarga and all. By the increase of tamas, one goes to the level of plants, go down to the plant level. And by prevalence, when you die, the prevalence of rajas, they become human beings. Those who are not subject to three gunas, they attain me. Such people, how are they don't attain? They are constantly thinking only of that Supreme, and therefore they attain Him. He who performs his swadharma as an offering to me, whatever you do it as an offering to me, he said, is influenced by sattva. Those who do it with a desire for some fruits of the action, influenced by rajas, and those who do this sadharma with great cruelty, is under the influence of tamas, of course. The knowledge that the Atman is connected to the body is sattvic. That knowledge that the Atman is contained inside the body, that I am the body, I am only the body, that knowledge is rajasic. While the knowledge that the body and the Atman are the same is tamasic. The in fact, when they think that body alone is the Atman, body is the Atman, such is this thing, tamasic. The knowledge that knows me, who is beyond the three gunas, is sattvic. Dwelling in forests and lonely places is sattvic. In a town, it is rajasic. And in a gambling den or other resorts of vice, it is tamasic. The temples and other holy places are beyond the three gunas. He who is unattached to results of his action is sattvic. As you said again and again, you who craves the results of the action and is blinded with attachment is rajas. And the one who does action under some delusion, oh, I will get some, I will do this, now is tamasic. If I put some money in here, I'm going to get that, and I'm going to do this, such a person is tamasic. So we will stop here and continue next Saturday. Next Saturday is, I think, 5th, I think. Yeah, 5th. 5th. I think, just a minute. 5th of October. Yeah, that's right. So we will take this thing again on next Saturday. So this, I don't know, these things I know are quite, they're very high level philosophy, but they're also very, very important for at least some of you who are attending to this. Even a few of you who are attending this will understand and try to change your lives according to this. I would be so grateful. And then we will have a different world. We'll have a different, at least our country will become different. So I beg of you all, try to understand this. And try to understand that mind is the main culprit for all this. And you must try to, controlling of the mind is the greatest control that you can have. Okay? I know, that's it. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Vajrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhave Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Hari Om Tatsat